Hi everyone, welcome back to Belle's Books. I'm Carly and today I'm talking about my Victober TBR. So I've got a stack of possibilities for Victober. I do like to participate, but I always have, as usual, an overly ambitious TBR. So I'm going to talk to you about the books that I could potentially read this Victober. The one that I am definitely going to read, she says, is the group read, which is Gothic Tales by Elizabeth Gaskell. I read Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. I listened to it on audiobook and I really enjoyed that. I liked her style of writing. I liked the story. I just really enjoyed it. So I have high hopes for these Gothic Tales. One, because I know I already like her writing style, but two, because in October I want to read spooky tales and anything a bit Halloweeny and ethereal. So I am down for this. I was so pleased when this was picked as the group read. So yay for spooky tales for Victober. Okay, so now let me go through my pile. There are some books that I'm going to read if I am successful in the interview I am attending tomorrow for the associate tutor position at Birkbeck. So as a PhD student, I get to apply for teaching hours at Birkbeck, where I'm doing my PhD, and that is to teach undergraduates on various modules in my department. So I'm applying for that teaching position. I don't know I know what modules there are available to teach on, but quite likely I'm not going to get any teaching hours because I didn't get any last year because they have been severely restricted by COVID. But if I do get teaching hours, there are certain books that I will be teaching. So they're on my TBR. They are potentially, depending on which module I get to teach, if any, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. This cover, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it looks like one of those holographic, you know, when you turn it one way and it looks like one person, you turn it another way. My green light is in the way, but that's what this cover looks like. This is only a very kind of short story. So this is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Other Tales of Terror. So on brand with the October Spooky Tales Ness. So I would read, and again, this is not a very big book, so hopefully I can get through all of this. So those two are my kind of definite ones I want to read in October. Oh, and staying with the spooky tales, well, I think this is a bit more comedy, The Canterville Ghost by Oscar Wilde, because it's very slim and I know this story. When I was a kid, I used to watch there was like a film version with Patrick Stewart. Absolutely adored that. Adored that adaptation. And also I think there was a TV series that I used to watch. Can't remember who was in it, but I very much enjoy this story, so I would like to read this again. So those are my definites. Oh, and one other possible, if I get the teaching hours, is this big old beast, Middlemarch by George Eliot. It's massive, and yeah, so if I get those teaching hours that involves teaching this book, then I would have to read it. So I would be reading this, and this is a beautiful cloth-bound classic edition that was a birthday present from my aunt. So it would be nice to actually get around to reading this. Then possibilities, but probably unlikely. I would also very much like to read The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Oh, watch out. This is a terrible monstrosity. You know when you get a sticker on a book and then you don't take it off and then you try and take it off and that happens? Very disappointed in that. I'm going to have to scour that away. Again, I've seen lots of excellent adaptations of this and would very much like to read it because it is not very big. But, you know, if we're talking about how likely it is I'm going to read all of these, I probably won't get to this because I am going to read The Canterville Ghost. So that's one Oscar Wilde anyway. One that I didn't get around to last year, that I probably won't get around to this year, but it's still on my radar, was Hester by Margaret Oliphant. This was recommended by Katie over at Books and Things for Victober, and it just sounds intriguing because it is a strong female character. So I don't know whether this is like a bit of a proto-feminist novel, but it is about Catherine Vernon. And when I read the synopsis for this, I was like, oh wait, it sounds like this is what Miss Havisham could have been if she just got over it. So this Catherine character was jilted, and then she goes on to run a bank, of all things. Sounds amazing. So I was just like, wait, this is Miss Havisham if you just got over being jilted and, you know, gone back on Tinder. So it is about Catherine and the running of this family bank, and the interaction with two younger characters, Hester and Edward, I think, who are the two younger characters, and her interactions with them. So I'm down for this. But like I say, I probably won't get to it, but I really want to read this quite soon. Highly unlikely that I will actually read this, but it's one of the set texts for a potential module that I could teach on Oliver Twist, classic Oliver Twist. Dickens is a bit of a slog, I'll be honest. I have read Dickens before, but you know, boy does he go on. I started reading Bleak House to Dan like ages ago. Like I thought, oh, we'll read Bleak House because that's one of our favourite Dickens, and I'll read it to him. Well, the first page was just about how foggy it was in London and all the different types of fog and how foggy fog was. It was intense fogness. And Dan was asleep after the first page. I was like, well, I'm not going to carry on reading this if you're already asleep. So, you know, I'm not going to lie, Dickens, I love the adaptations. I love watching it at Christmas time, but reading it is just a bit of a slog. So, I mean, hopefully I won't be picking this up, but it depends if I get those teaching hours. So who knows? Then, two that I'm not going to read, but I just want to show you because I really like them. I bought these from a second-hand bookshop near to where I live, and they are the old Penguin classics. The Professor by Charlotte Bronte. I just love these old Penguin classic editions. This isn't a massive novel, but am I going to get around to this? Probably not. I do want to read this at some point. Confession time. I read Shirley last year for Victober, which was the group read. I say I read it in October. I read most of it in October. I just didn't finish it. Do you know when I finished it? 2 days ago. Because I thought, I really need to finish reading Shirley before I start on my next Victober reading. And I was just like, oh, that was a bit of a slog. Now, I love Charlotte Bronte. Two of my favourite books of all time are Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights. I'm on board with the Brontes. Also, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. So, all three of them. I love those three books. But Shirley, I was just not that impressed with. I just found it kind of a bit slow and tough going. Anyway, finished it now. But I do want to read everything that Charlotte Bronte has written. So, I do want to get around to The Professor at some point. Also, I've never read any Wilkie Collins, and I picked up this very nice copy of the Moonstone. So, again, this is one of those things where I'm like, I really want to pick this up. I really want to read this. I don't even know the story. I haven't seen any adaptations. I would just like to read a Wilkie Collins. And this is a very nice copy that I have got. So, at some point, I will get around to reading these two lovely Penguin classics. But who knows when that will be. So, honestly, this is way too much for me to have on my TBR because by BookTube standards, I am a fairly slow reader. I generally get through about 4 books a month, more if I've got an audiobook, which again, I haven't been listening to audiobooks. I could do one of these on audio, couldn't I? Now there's an idea. Probably the Dickens if I've got to read that. So this is my overly ambitious Victober TBR. I know I'm not going to read all of these, honestly, but I'm definitely going to be reading the group read. I'm so on board for spooky reads this October. That's all I want to read in this time of year when it starts getting dark, as it is now, and I want to turn to ghost stories and creepy tales. So I was very pleased that the Gothic tales won the group read vote. Yay! Excellent. Right, I'll let you know how I get on at the end of October, but I'm predicting I won't do very well. But this is a nice lot. I'm pleased with this selection. Talk to me in the comments below if you were participating in Victober. Also, did you participate last year? Did you read Shirley, and what did you think? Other than that, I'm going to do another video on spooky reads, which is going to tackle some of the books behind me, because as well as this is why I know I'm going to fail at all of these Victober reads, is because there are so many other like contemporary spooky books that I would like to read this autumn, and I can push those into November. That's fine. I'm thinking from now onwards to December I will be reading creepy books, spooky books, ghost stories, and anything like that. So I'll do another video about that, about more contemporary books, probably next week sometime. But talk to me in the comments below if you're participating in Victober. Are you excited? I love Victober. Also, I didn't get dressed up for this video, but I do have a very nice array of Victorian-esque blouses, and I do like to get dressed up for Victober, so there will be some dress up content, hopefully. I will do a nice little vlog of my Victober reads. Also, I'm noisy youths going past. I'm accruing some period items that I'm using, that I'm going to be filming for a separate video project, so I can do a very nice atmospheric kind of ASMR kind of Victober video. So watch out for that soon. Yay! Alright guys, I will speak to you very soon in another video. Take care. Bye!